The 4-2-3-1 formation remains the most popular used tactic on Football Manager 2024. It's very much the go-to setup. The most used mentality is set to attacking, and everybody more often than not using the Gegenpress. With Football Manager 2026 giving us in and out of possession tactics, we can get away from the boring 4-2-3-1, park that bus, play ultra defensive football, and potentially win some silverware the good old-fashioned way. Very much like Chelsea in the early 2000s under Jose Mourinho. There are a few teams that like to play defensively solid football. Cagliari, Torino, of course Atletico Madrid, let's not forget Getafe and Gillingham of Sky Bet League 2. But on Football Manager 26, when it does release, there could be a lot more teams that really want to play defensive style football. With that being said, I want to win a different way. And if we can go back to the good old-fashioned days, the good old-fashioned ways, old school football, defensively solid football, making the most of the dark arts, that's going to make FM26 even more exciting. We haven't got to play just sort of one way to win trophies. With the in possession and the out of possession, you really will be able to win on FM26 playing defensively solid park the bus football. I'm going to give you 3 teams to manage on FM26 to make the experience a little bit different, away from the ordinary. Once again, boring, overused 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress. Let's have a look at these teams now. There is only absolutely one place to start, and it is in La Liga, and it is with Atletico Madrid. When Football Manager 26 releases, of course, all this is subject to change, but it won't really drift too far away, I wouldn't have thought, from the supporter culture and expectations. But Atletico Madrid, they want you to make the most of set pieces, play defensively solid football, play direct stuff. We all know about Atletico Madrid. They will master the dark arts. They will cause problems from set pieces. And most importantly of all, once they've parked that bus, it is very, very difficult to break through and potentially score a goal. Your job will be made a hell of a lot easier, especially with the quality in defence. The likes of Robin Lenormand, Jose Jimenez, the experience of Clement Longley. Let's not forget their top wing backs in Molina and Ruggieri. But even in front of the defence, there is grit, there is determination. The likes of Llorente, Conor Gallagher, a real engine of the team. The experience, the veteran, Koke. But beyond the defence and the midfield, the attacking outlets are absolutely crazy. So be sure as anything, if you can close out the opposition, you will have threat to the likes of Almada, Julian Alvarez, Alex Baena, and the elite attacker in Antoine Griezmann. A team with such a rich history, 11 La Liga titles, 1 UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, 3 Europa Leagues. The list really does go on, but we're going to reiterate the quality up front, midfield, defence, and in goal. You should have absolutely no problem parking that bus and potentially doing the unthinkable, winning the Champions League away from a plain old boring 4-2-3-1. The second team really does need no introduction, and it is AC Milan in Serie A. The list of honours, as long as your arm, an absolute elite team. But during the 90s, experiencing so much success, and all that really coming down to absolute defensive masterclass. But that does not surprise me when you have the likes of Paolo Maldini, Mauro Tassotti, Alessandro Costacurta, Gennaro Gattuso, Alessandro Nesta. This is where it all started. Italians laid down a marker. They set the standard of how to play solid defensive football, parking that bus, and they've done it ever so successfully. A lot of Italian teams winning big during the early 90s playing this sort of football. AC Milan's team is still very strong. It may not be as strong as Atletico Madrid, but looking at the defence, even in goal, Mike Maignan, world-class goalkeeper. Defensively, they've got Tomori, they've got the experience of Purvis and Stupinan, they've got Pavlovic. There is still a lot of quality at the back. But where AC Milan really will be able to master the dark arts, they're going to have the experience of Adrien Rabiot in centre midfield. partnered next to the absolute world-class elite veteran in Luka Modric. With the strength and the experience across the back line, across the midfield, you head on into attack then. They do have the quality of Christopher Nkunku. Bags of flair, bags of pace, definitely knows how to score goals and create opportunities. The quality of Christian Pulisic. Of course, when playing defensive football, you're parking that bus. Everyone's going to sit deep. Everyone is going to be disciplined in what they're doing. But this is where Leao will come in clutch. Look at that pace, the acceleration, the dribbling. When you spring these counter-attacks, after defending so well and winning that ball back, you will be very, very dangerous going forward. So a really nice blend of players at AC Milan if you are to take on this old-fashioned challenge here back in Serie A. Is it as good as the Atletico Madrid team? Absolutely not. But you've definitely got a solid foundation to build from. So the third team is one that's going to be a bit more of a challenge for you guys and girls out there. And it brings us to Montpellier of Ligue 2 in France. Otherwise known as Ligue 2. They have a very small list of honours. Can you build on these trophies? They are a big fish in a small pond since suffering relegation. Of course, if you was playing the boring 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress, I have no doubt you guys and girls could return Montpellier back to Liga the first time of asking. But this is going to be the new way to play FM26. I can just feel it. Here at Montpellier, the board expect you to play defensively, solid football, shut out the opposition. If the opposition can't score, you're not going to lose the game. Now, Montpellier are going through some very, very difficult times in real life. You can see the squad is looking very, very thin indeed. I think they may have added a few players to the ranks. So when you load up FM26, if you are going to do the park the bus setup here at Montpellier, this could be a very, very difficult save. It sounds, saying it out loud now, you guys will think easy. How hard is it to win on FM22, 3, 4, playing negative football? It's nigh on impossible. You can't really achieve too much, but I really think now with the in and out possession we will be able to see absolute masterclasses off the ball, making the most of set pieces, corners, free kicks, long throw-ins. We're seeing a lot of long throw-ins coming back this year. You really are going to have to master the dark side of the footballing arts if you are to succeed. But anyway, back to the squad. They have got some decent players in here. Some very, very good centre-halves in Maskimovic and Julien. I don't really know too much about any other players in the team apart from the attacker in Alexander Mendy. Very, very good. Very quick. Very strong. Certainly will get you a few goals from a set piece as well. He's a target forward. Good heading. Good jumping. He's a bit of a unit. So you are going to have to make the most of Mendy when it comes to dead ball situations. The squad isn't the best, but what do you expect playing in the second tier of French football? So that is just 3 teams you could potentially change the whole dynamic on FM26 with. I am definitely going to be running some very, very good defensive setups, creating some tactics, all that good stuff. But this really is a new era in Football Manager. Now, I did look through loads of nations, loads of leagues. There isn't really that many teams on FM24 which have that play defensively solid football, which is a little bit sad, really, because a lot more teams in real life like to play on the back foot and hit on the counter. So I hopefully and fully expect, actually, to see a lot more teams to want to play defensively disciplined, structured ways of football. Are you going to stay to a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3? Are you going to try something new? Are you going to try and play maybe a 4-1-4-1? Are you going to play a 4-4-2, playing direct football, making the most of set pieces? Are you going to go 5 at the back? Or on the flip side, are you going to stick to what you know? Just play 4-2-3-1, Gegenpress, get your assistant manager to pick you out of possession, and you're going to do what everyone's done on every single Football Manager for such a long time. And I'm going to reiterate this once again. I really want to test out, can you win silverware? Can you win trophies? Can you reach the top of world football playing absolutely boring park the bus? Make sure to like the video, most definitely. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, absolutely crucial. And of course, take care of yourself. We've gone full Stone Cold Steve Austin. See you next time.